Yeah, this tier list, this will be just to give you an idea of how I like vote on tier list updates, or like how when I'm voting on the tier list, like how do I vote? Let's get started. 103, okay. Yeah, we're putting Karakuri firmly at the top. Let's get that one out of the way. Like 100%. I mean, in best of one, Karakuri is like easily the best deck, easily. Um, it can just draw. It has draw power. It has a very strong going first turn. Um, in side deck format, though, everyone has access to board wipes, so they all have access to either System Down or Acid Rain. Now, the issue here is that Acid Rain, or okay, System Down, it's good, but excuse me, Karakuri can run counter traps such as Karakuri Cast Shed, and they can also run Necro Valley. So both of those stop System Down. However, Acid Rain is not stopped by Necro Valley. So for those that don't know, if you activate Necro Valley, then System Down cannot be activated because System Down requires both the field and the graveyard to be banished. Our Curry is confidently tier 1, however, it's not as close to like a tier 0 deck as it would be without side. Um, just because of the board wipes. However, side deck is a two-headed beast, or a double-edged sword, or both. You get what I'm saying. Uh, Karakuri also benefits from side deck because it has draw power, compared to the decks without draw power. So if you think about it, if you side in like 2 cards in Karakuri versus 2 cards in any other deck, because Karakuri has the power to thin their deck and then draw a card, they're more likely to see their side deck cards than another deck that just has to hard draw those cards. Yeah, those are the strengths of Karakuri. Control Shira. It's very high tier 2. It's a strong tier 2. Control Shira. But I still think it's like more closer to the tier 2 range. Something you're gonna see as a trend is that I think a lot of decks are like in this tier 2 range. Um, for various reasons. I think there's like Karakuri is really strong, and like it's hard to be as strong as Karakuri, and all these decks are like they can compete, but they're just not quite on the same level of consistency. Yeah, Control Share also has like the advantage of not like having as many like blowout cards, or like the strong cards against Control Shira are much more specific to just that matchup. The cards I'm thinking of are like DD Crow and Inverse Universe specifically. But yeah, that's why I'd say Control Share is a pretty strong like tier 2. Looking at Black Queens, okay. So Black Queens I think end up I think Black Queens end up closer to the tier 3 range. They have some strengths in the sense that they can go second. But a lot of their strengths are not that relevant at the moment. In order for Black Queens to really do well, they need to see tech cards in a lot of their matchups. So Karakuri, you look at Karakuri and they have inherent draw power, and it's really good at going first. But Black Queens does not like have the same degree of draw power, and it's also just doesn't have defense the same way Karakuri has defense, you know? Like, if you go first with Karakuri, you're usually ending on, like, 2 back row, at least. If you're going first with Blackwings, you're ending on 3 bodies, but you're lucky if you set one, you know? Like, and if you set one, it's usually a Cyclone, it's not an Offerings, it's not like a defensive card. It's usually a card to facilitate more offense. Moving on to the next deck, Crystron's Tier 2. I'm gonna establish some pros and cons of Crystron's. The pros are that in best of one, it's one of the best decks, probably like second or third-ish after. It's like competes with like Control Shira, I'd say, in a best of 3 format, or in a best of 1 format for second best. The issue is that Crystrons are very susceptible to the side deck. So how good Crystrons will be in side deck format kind of depends on how much people are kind of expecting of Karakuri, you know? Because you can run System Down and it demolishes Crystrons and they cry. And it can hit Karakuri, but it could potentially not hit Karakuri because of Necro Valley. However, if everybody runs Acid Rain, it's even stronger against Karakuri, but Crystrons are like not affected by Acid Rain at all. So if the meta shifts towards everybody using Acid Rain, then Crystrons can grow in popularity much more. So it's like this push and pull of what is good can like allow Crystrons to move up versus if System Down comes back, Crystrons move down. And that's the issue with Crystrons and why it it's kept out of the tier 1 for now because of how like the side deck can just completely obliterate it. Thoughts on Hero? I don't think Hero is very strong at the moment. In my best of 1 tier list, I think I put it tier 4, and here I'm like inclined to agree. It's just that Hero doesn't really have a lot of. It's not very well rounded, and it doesn't have a good Karakuri matchup. So those two things. I think Hero is really like a counter deck. Like, for example, in Team Wars, for those that know, you will often see Dark Magician is played, and then people will send Hero into Dark Magician because Hero has a good Dark Magician matchup. However, you don't really see that in best of 3 because people don't really play Dark Magician enough for Hero to top tournaments. I think Hero has like a decent like Control Share matchup, but it has a bad Crystron matchup, a bad Karakuri matchup, and yeah, I think like because of those reasons, it can hold Hero back. Combo Shira might be like a tier 3 strategy. We're gonna do what I like to call no man's land. It's this range between tier 2 and 3 that I'll just put the deck, and then you have no idea if I'm putting it in tier 2 or tier 3. And I'm fine with that. I don't think it's as strong as like Crystron's or Control Shira, but I don't think it's as weak as Blackwings. So I'm actually gonna do tier 2.5 Combo Shira. It's just that Combo Shira is not as good against Karakuri as Control Shira. As much as Combo Shira can do well against Crystrons, it can do well against Control Shira. It really folds to Karakuri because Karakuri can just outpace Combo Shira most of the time. Like, Combo Shira doesn't have like consistent interruption for Karakuri, and Karakuri can also just run Necro Valley in the side deck, and Necro Valley completely shuts down Combo Shira, because Combo Shira is much more focused on resolving the grave effects than Control Shira, whereas Control Shira, they do care about the graveyard, but they have cards like Bad Aim and Ballista Squad to out a Necro Valley. Combo Shira generally runs more cards and has less outs to Necro Valley. So for these reasons, I think Combo Shira is weaker in a best of 3. Invoked droids. Alright. If you watch the stream enough, you know that I hate invoked droids, because I think it sucks. So I'm gonna put invoked droids down here, and let me explain why. If invoked droids is only good when it's submarine droid beatdown, then you have to ask, is invoked droids actually that good? Or is it just like, is cheesing people with direct attacks like a good strategy? You know? Like, is invoked droids actually a good strategy? Because, like, if invoked droids were a good deck, then we would probably see some sort of, like, stall deck that only uses the droid cards just to hit directly, and that might have been, like, a legitimate, meta deck. But because that's not, like, an effective strategy, it kind of shows that Invoked Droids needs to open Alistair and Droid cards to function. So, for those reasons, I don't think Invoked Droids is a very good deck. Ritual Beasts have been bad lately. Yeah, so Ritual Beasts have a bad Karakuri matchup. They have an okay Crystron matchup, but they don't have the best Control Share matchup. They have a good Combo Share matchup, but if you have a bad Karakuri matchup, then your deck is like, it has to have a lot of other good matchups to compensate for a bad Karakuri matchup. As much as I may enjoy Ritual Beasts to a degree, I think Ritual Beasts, they're kind of like in the untiered zone. They do have like advantages, but ultimately Karakuri is the best deck. And when you don't have a good matchup against Karakuri, or when you have like a really bad matchup against Karakuri, you have to have like really strong matchups in other places, and it just doesn't have that. So Magician Girls, yeah, I think they're either 2.5 or 2. Magician Girls have a really good Karakuri matchup. They also do decently well against Crystrons, and they also have a good Control Share matchup. I think their Combo Shira matchup is unfavorable, and I think they actually beat Black Queens. They beat almost everything. This is hold on a second. Is Magician Girls just tier 2? I think, yeah. I think they might be tier 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for that. I think it might be, just like looking at their matchup spread, like Magician Girls are actually in a prime position. They might even be better than Control Shira. Actually, yeah. It's just Magician Girls have a good Karakuri matchup. They have like a ton of back rows, so they have a decent Crystron matchup. Unless Crystron runs SSA, in which case Crystron should be favored. But generally it's favored against the level dupe version. So it has a good matchup against level dupe Crystrons. It's got a good Control Share matchup. It's got a good Karakuri matchup. Loses to Combo Shira. It has so much back row. It should do favorably against Black Queens. This I'm not 100% sure about, because like I haven't tested it thoroughly. But yeah, Magician Girls seem like very strong the more I think about it. Now, after all this time, we get down to Witchcrafter. Okay. Now, let's be reasonable. So, I think it's pretty clear that I have a bias in favor of Witchcrafter. So, many people may disagree with my opinion of where I put it. However, we look at the tier list, we look at Karakuri, and the Karakuri matchup is not favorable, but it's kind of coin flip. So if you go second, it's bad, but if you go first, you're still like in a decent situation. Crystron matchup, favorable. Control Shira matchup, favorable. Magician Girls, Witchcrafter is actually Magician Girls' hardest matchup. Combo Shira is unfavorable and Black Wings is unfavorable. So if we just look at this, you're doing really well against like a solid portion of tier 2, and like you have like a coin flip against Karakuri. It's not like a favorable coin flip, but you know, it's still like you still have like pretty decent odds going first. If it were up to me, I would put Witchcrafter like on the lower end of tier 2. But to appease everybody, let's put Witchcrafter and Combo Shira like in the same boat. Alright. Okay, so I think Blue Eyes has a bad Karakuri matchup, a bad Crystron matchup, a bad Combo Shira matchup, a bad Blackwing matchup. I think it does okay against Control Shira and pretty well against Magician Girls, but I think the speed of Karakuri is really oppressive, and that's why Blue Eyes doesn't make it on there. So I can actually just down here include Blue Eyes, just in case anyone is curious. Now with Blue Eyes out of the way, I want to talk about Dark Magician, because Dark Magician is an interesting case. I think Dark Magician might be worth tier 3, which is kind of strange, because for a long time I've been like, I like make fun of Dark Magician because I think it's a bad deck. However, I do think Dark Magician does have a good Control Share matchup, it does have a good Combo Share matchup, it does have a good Magician Girls matchup, but I don't think it has a good Karakuri matchup. The issue with Karakuri versus Dark Magician is that, once again, it is a coin flip. So if Dark Magician go first, they have a really decent shot at winning the game. However, if Karakuri go first, they have an almost zero chance of winning the game, because it's just such a slow deck, or like it's a trap deck, so it takes a lot of time for Dark Magician to A, set up their field, and B, get through 2 synchro monsters, both of which can swing over a Dark Magician. So for those reasons, Dark Magician may be a tier 3 strategy, but not today. Yeah, and that's the tier list. What do you guys think?